Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things.
Ray! Do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock! Ray! Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks! Yeah, do the hammerlock!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what is, I believe, episode 4 of Wrestling Art with Chris Things. I am Chris Things, your host this week and every week. This is our Match of the Week edition, our weekly little special ski of the podcast, where we talk about what I've picked to be my Chris Things Match of the Week. Just my favourite matches that I watched that week, and I deemed good enough to make an art of. So we're going to be talking about the match, we're going to be talking about the art, and we're going to be talking to a very special friend, former co-host of the prestigious Grown Men Watch This Shit podcast. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jaims Vanderbeek.
Woo! Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me again. Also, people here with me is my cat. He'll be joining the show.
That's fucking adorable.
I didn't have to say to him. I just had to make eye contact.
I love that so much. It's basically like I always dug on the. Do you ever see that My Favorite Murders podcast where they had the cat as basically a guest on the show?
I have not. That is a tremendous. I'm stealing their gimmick, though.
You should. I mean, I was going to say I could give a shit about them hearing actually talk about the murders. I just want to hear about like their lives and the cat and that kind of shit.
I love cats. I'm a big dog guy now, but cats are, they're near and dear to my heart. So yeah, Hudson's here. If you need any commentary, his opinion, just let me know.
Hello, Hudson. I mean, you're a dude that swings both ways, really, when it comes to the dog versus cat thing, right?
Oh, oh man! I was like, don't let that word get out there. Just joking.
Hey, we're a very fluid, friendly podcast.
Yeah,
here,
man. I don't know where I fall on the Kinsey scale. I don't know. Who knows?
But we don't have to put ourselves into boxes.
Are you familiar with the Kinsey scale?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
What is this?
The Kinsey scale, it's basically how it's this gentleman who studied I think he's John Kinsey. He developed a scale of how gay people are, basically. He says no one's really straight or gay. It's kind of a scale where you fall on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I've heard such things.
The Kinsey scale. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Well, there you go. We bring more than just wrestling art. We bring all sorts of...
Now we go into talking about men rubbing on each other, and, the Kinsey scale kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure. Whoever was to say that wrestling was a homoerotic sport?
Whoever declined or denied it is a fool.
Nothing wrong with that, as Jerry would say. Was it Jerry who said that in the episode?
Oh, no, you put me on the spot. I don't fucking know. I don't remember.
Were you much of a Seinfeld dude?
I am. I'm obsessed, but now I can't fucking remember. I think they both said it, like, intermittently, so I don't know who first said it. I think Jerry may have been the first one to said it.
Okay, well, if I'm wrong, please, people come out and shout us down.
It's the internet. If you make something incorrect, they will definitely let you know.
We will see. But how's your weekend, man? You're pretty action-packed.
Oh, I'm tired. It was a lot of fun. 2 tremendous nights of action-packed action. GCW and Defy running back-to-back up at Washington Hall. And yeah, it was, man, exhausting.
Beautiful venue, might I say.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, and they kind of... Defy kind of changed their setup, the way the entry, and they kind of even took advantage of how it looks even more now. So it looks even better, in my opinion.
Ooh.
But yeah, awesome. Tremendous showing by Joey Ryan. Or not Joey. Whoa, holy shit. Cut that out. Oh my God.
Damn.
This needs to be cut.
Cut
that out. That name, why that name come out? Oh my God. Actually, I meant Joey Janela, who is so much not Joey Ryan. But Joey Janela had 2 separate matches that went over 40 minutes each.
Slightly different vibes, I want to say.
Sleazy, yes, but in their own ways. One more really of a sleaze and not so much lovable creep. Please cut that out. How the fuck? I'll leave it in. But yeah, Joey Janela, tremendous weekend. His match with Kenta, probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in person. Fucking
I would love to see that. That sounds like such a delightfully unique match.
He's underrated in my opinion. Like Joey is great. He sells he sells like death. Like everything looks like he just got murdered, and it looks fantastic.
Oh, big fan. He was like the first thing that got me falling in love with GCW back in the day. And I fucking loved. I heard someone this week, and I cannot believe it, bury that rad match that Joey had with John Moxley on like the main event of, I don't know if it was like Fyter Fest or something, the fucking AEW back in the day.
Yeah, it was Fyter Fest. Fucking nonsense.
I fucking loved that match.
People like the guy who was complaining said the first person who actually started bitching about it said he didn't like it because he actually had to pay for it because he wasn't in the country. I'm like, and everyone else appreciated it because they got it for free. That's what his point was. Like, no, this is objectively a good match.
I'm pretty sure I had to pay for. I think I had to pay for like the AEW Plus to watch it, and I was like,
See?
that show was great.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, no complaining over here.
Yeah, I really liked. I'd put Joey in with anybody, and I think Joey can make magic because he's just an interesting performer, and he. The style clashes is what makes good matches.
For sure, and I was always like real sad, like when he originally got kind of like cut or not renewed from AEW, because I just thought he was the dude that just they didn't get his vibe, they didn't like capture his magic, like similar like a dude like Jack Evans, for example. They never like caught his kind of like magic in a bottle. I don't know what it is about these kind of dudes, but I was like. Always thought Joey had the potential to be kind of like this generation's version of like a Cactus Jack in early 90s WCW kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. And then they appeared like when he first was part of AEW, like they were going full force with him and they must have pulled back. Maybe he just like got lax on like either training or something. But something must have happened. They kind of soured on him, I guess.
It seemed like his momentum came to a fucking stop as soon as he got put together with like Sonny Kiss.
Yeah.
And then that son of just like kind of was just dead on arrival in a way.
Well, that almost seemed like a last ditch effort. That seemed like we gotta try something else with Joey and Sonny because people like them, so they put them together. And honestly, I think people liked it at first. They just didn't go anywhere with it because the vignettes were cool. Them cruising around in the car together, like it was just a weird pairing and it was interesting. But yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I remember that first lot of vignettes. I kind of gave Lucha Underground vibes a little bit from back in the day.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but so Joey and Kenta, good stuff. What else were the highlights there?
GCW had a 6-man luchador match. That was fucking the new team of Los Desperados, which is Gringo Loco, I think Arez, and I think it's Latigo.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Chris? Do you know? He's like a little stocky luchador. Is it
I always just read it as Latigo. Okay. But I don't know whether that's actually the correct pronunciation or not.
But it was him, or those guys versus Horace. I think Aramis was out there, and fuck, the last guy is escaping me. I watched a lot of wrestling this weekend, dude. But anyway, that match, the luchador, was so insane, and it went so long. Like people were like, even Joey commented after when his match went on how long that match was, but the whole thing was exciting because luchador.
Did he have to go on after the luchadors?
Yeah, he was main event. Oh wait, no, but no, he did have to go after the luchadors too on both nights, or on that night, yes.
Oh man,
Joey main evented the second night, but he did have to go after the luchadors, yes.
That is the worst place to be.
Oh man, it was wild. One interesting thing is Defy usually has an intermission, and this GCW doesn't go with that approach. So Defy just followed suit. So the second night, people just stayed in their seats and they ran through because honestly, the vibe was so strong. It'd be weird to kind of just, all right, we're gonna chill out for a second and take a break. But
I don't know. I'm personally a big fan of intermissions. I don't think there's anything wrong with a wrestling intermission. Even if you've got a live, internet broadcast going on, give people a chance to get up, get some fucking food, get some coffee, get some alcohol, have a little smoke ski, Nothing wrong with
100%.
that.
I don't disagree with you by any means. I love intermission. I was actually kind of annoyed that I didn't get to go out and smoke the joint I had in my pocket. But at the same time, it's like the vibe was so strong, and the matches were so hot. Nobody really wanted to leave. They kind of gave everyone the opportunity, like, "Hey, you guys, cool if we keep it going?" And the fans all kind of cheered, yeah. So we kept it going.
I would love if there was like two people that were like, no, we want
Yeah.
to smoke some weed.
Do we have to be?
Edibles.
Does it have to be unanimous? Can we? Let me actually look at the
Show
results.
of hands, please.
I'm gonna grab the results real quick so I can make sure that I do not miss anything. Give me 1 second, sir.
Sure thing.
This is proper podcast behavior. It's like look things up after you're on the show, not prior
I
to
find
the
this
show.
way far more exciting. You know, it's
Who
like
knows what's going to happen? What's going on?
We're looking up the things for you, the listener. You know,
Yeah.
That's the favor that we're doing.
All right, so yeah, I mentioned the Janela thing. Cody Chun, he beat Gringo Loco for Defy's Primo Lucha title. I think they're actually gonna do a whole Lucha separate division for like actual shows. You know what I mean? Like a full Lucha shows for Defy. I can't say for sure. But then
I mean, they did some at the Tacoma Sundome. They've done that a little bit before.
Exactly. They might repeat that act and actually, establish that as a separate brand, I believe.
Cool.
Then the match from the second night you really need to check out is there's a bunch of Canadian guys called the Sovereign, and they took off Nick Gage, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Artemis
Bailey, getting a bit Aussie there, mate.
I don't know what happened there. And then fucking Artemis Spencer, Canadian guy. You're familiar with him, right?
I am.
Former Defy champion. But yeah, that match, it was fucking bonkers. So if anything you want to check out from the second night, look for that one and then the main event.
Okay, sounds good. Hot recommendations there. Jaims Vanderbeek's recommendations for GCW and Defy for all of our listeners.
Yeah, if I was Sean Scoville, I would rate everything on the Scoville scale, and this gives a Scoville scale of 4.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, out of 27, so you don't know where I'm coming from.
It's like the old Meltzy scale where it's like we have no idea what the ceiling of this scale is.
Exactly. He established. We thought it was 5 stars. Where's this guy going?
I do want to give a special shout out. I only just realized today what your little Skype photo thing is. It's you and Uncle Dave.
Yeah, me and Big Dave. Yeah. I forgot it was on there too. Thanks for pointing that out.
It's a beautiful picture.
I think that was at BOLA one year. I'm not sure which one, but yeah. That's hilarious. I have another one with him and Derek. Me and him and Derek all together in line at BOLA. It's a pretty good one.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I remember my first BOLA Dave was there and I got a little photo and I don't know why, but I just reverted to like the state of like being like it's such a nervous school child around like fucking Uncle Dave. Like I met like all these like famous wrestlers and I could give a shit because I used to be a worker back in the day, but for whatever reason I was around Uncle Dave and I was like, I'm so fucking nervous. I don't know what it was.
No, honestly.
And then, same thing happened again for Wembley. So we went over for the big AEW All In show in Wembley, and so we were doing a thing where I printed up some of my my zines, and was thinking, oh yeah, this would be a good idea. There's a bunch of wrestling fans around. I can give some zines to some different people and get some art publicity going. And of all people, we're on the same train and the tube, as the Londoners like to call it, and we're in the same fucking carriage with Big Dave and Brian.
Good old Chico Alvarez.
Yeah, and I was just like, same, straight up. Like, my mates were like, oh, Dave's right there, you should give him a zine. And I was just like, I mean, I don't know if it was like a little bit high also, but I was like, I am far too nervous to do that. But then my buddy David ends up like fucking going straight over to Dave and saying, Mr. Meltzer, can I talk to you about Jesus?
He did?
Our Lord and Savior Jesus
That's
Christ.
amazing.
And then, he's a good sport. And he was Brian popped for Caminito being on the cover of the zine, and they were both quite delightful about it and quite complimentary. So I was stoked about that.
So you did pass one off to him?
Yeah, they both took one, and it was quite a nice little thing. It was quite delightful.
Fucking right.
Despite my nervous Nelly approach to it.
you're such a personable guy. I'm surprised you had some nerves. But you know what? 100%. The first time I met Dave, I definitely was more nervous than when I meet wrestlers. And I'm like, man, fuck all with the wrestlers. I don't give a damn. I met plenty of wrestlers, but yeah, here's fucking dirt sheet Dave. Hello, sir. Can I get a photo? By the way, I figured out who the luchador I was forgetting, and I feel terrible now. It was Laredo Kid.
Oh.
He's fucking,
great.
yeah, he's tremendous.
Wrestler.
And then yeah, the Joey on the first night, he's faced Speedball, and that was incredible. Like, again, style clashes just meshing perfectly together. That was a wild one.
Ooh, that sounds great. Big fan of Speedball.
Oh, so good.
I reckon I gotta get Speedball up in this match of the week business for sooner or later.
Yeah, man.
I remember he had one match in PWG. I want to say it was maybe night one of a BOLA a little while back, but a match, Mike Bailey and Hero from back in the day before Bailey got kicked out of the country for that weird visa nonsense where he was like not allowed to wrestle in America for like 5 years. But that match, dude, was fucking fire.
Yep, I do recall.
Do you recall this?
Yes, sir. Indeed. He had a crazy run before he got fucking banned. Like, and then he came back. Like, rarely you think people can pick up the steam from where they were, but he did so and more. Like, the year he had this year was fucking, like, he's probably the MVP of the year as far as the independent scene is going.
Dude, so good. And it's like he got, like you're saying, he got better after that run, after that forced exodus. I don't know if part of it was like he was working for DDT for a while. I remember I went to a show quite a few years back now at Shinjuku Face in DDT, and he looked so fucking good. He was probably one of the best parts about that show. But I reckon it seems like always a thing. Whenever dudes like go to Japan for a little bit, they always come back better, you know?
Oh yeah, it's like grind. Would they say iron sharpens iron or whatever? So yeah, for sure. And yeah, I did misspeak. I think Joey Janela did main event both nights. So yeah, he went after the luchadors and then closed the second night as well. That guy is a fucking animal.
Mr. Main Event.
Oh yeah, Mr. GCW.
Yeah, big fan of Joey. Big fan. Yeah, man. My weekend was pretty full on too. It was actually my birthday.
Happy birthday, sir!
I turned a year older over the weekend. Thank you. Appreciate it. The funniest thing about this birthday, might I tell you, I was like approaching this like birthday. It's one of those ones getting up there a little bit, you know, getting closer to the big old 40, which I don't think is the biggest deal. You know, I'm like trying to be like chill about that kind of thing.
In the rear view from me, your friend.
I mean, I feel like my 40s are going to be my happiest years. So, 40 is the new 30 or whatever. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like getting a little bit like I was looking at where I was at in life, you know, that sort of like big picture, like, oh fuck, you know, I'm turning 38. What am I doing? You know, I'm looking at this like art career stuff, and obviously need to like push this forward a little bit more than where it's at the moment, make a bit more progress. And I was like getting a little bit like kind of like feeling the pressure, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then I'm like talking to my mum, you know, on the day, doing that little, you know, happy birthday parental chat that a lot of us do. And I told her, I'm like, you know, wow, big 38. And she's like, you're not 38. You just turned 37.
Wait,
so I gained a whole last year of life. It's like I had a birthday and I went backwards.
So this whole last year
results.
you were running around thinking you were 37 already?
Yeah.
Where do you think you fucked up? Like, what year do you think you fucked up?
I guess I just didn't do the math. Like I was born in 86. Yeah,
but how long have you been using the wrong birthday? Clearly, was it like when you moved away from your parents and one day like you were stoned and you're just like, oh, I must be fucking 37 or I must be 17 or whatever. Like,
I don't know, dog. Like,
that's amazing.
There's a time when you just sort of like they get modeled up. You just like get some years, keep adding on, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm around about. I know I'm past 35. You know, that's sort of the benchmark, and then they all kind of get a little bit blurry.
I was born on a year with a 0 at the end, so it became quite easy to track how old I was. Yeah.
Yeah. My partner's the same. She's 1990, so it makes her age a little bit easier. But yeah, for us 86ers, I don't know if anyone else has had these issues, but all in all, I think it was a positive. I still feel a bit of pressure that I have to keep turning up the progress with this art career shit. But at least I'm still officially closer to my mid-30s.
I just have this vision of you on this phone call, your mother, "No, love, you're 37." And then a light literally hits you, and this cloud moves away that you were under, and you're like, "What?"
I was so excited, dude. I was yelled out at partners downstairs. I'm like, Kaylin, great news! I'm a year younger.
This year I got younger than I thought I was gonna be. Amazing.
Big
Only
pop.
you, Chris.
Big pop.
No, that's lovely.
Thanks, man. So that's a little bit of an insight into me as a person.
As an overall guy.
Yeah, that basically sums me up as a person in a lot of ways.
You're very chill. How the fucking old are you?
Yeah, 37 apparently.
I like how you're stressed out about it, and literally at the same time are not. You don't care enough to actually know the number. That's simultaneously two different sides of you. I'm so worried about this number, but at the same time, I don't care enough to know how old I was.
It's like I simultaneously care too much and not enough.
Yeah, indeed. I love it.
Yeah, oh well. But it was a nice birthday. Did the birthday party on the night before. So the day itself felt on a Saturday. So did the Friday night party. But then I forgot about the negative of that is you then spend most of your birthday hungover as fuck. Because as a 37-year-old, I just can't put them back like I used to, man. I was fucking feeling rough.
Yeah, when you were 37 last year.
Right. Apparently I took a flip bump into a garden, so that was the thing.
A forward flip, and then you landed on your back?
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking maniac.
It was going uphill, so I think I under-rotated and probably landed on my neck. So in theory, I took a spike bump.
Yeah, that even ups the difficulty.
So you wonder why I'm feeling so rough the day after. Just a spike bump in someone's front yard.
Beautiful.
I'm a very sensible person, when it comes
hey, man,
down to
once you get a few pops in you, things are bound to happen.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But then the following day, I think I told you about this. I was real stoked. So after the hangover wore off, we went out for a nice little dinner and then went to Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Oh yeah,
who I am a big fan of. I've loved Anton and his ridiculous shenanigans for many years now. So I got to see that at the Princess Theatre in Wollongabba, in suburb of Brisbane, and it was amazing. But have you seen any Brian Jonestown Massacre gigs? Sort of what to expect here?
I have never seen them live. I am familiar with the sound, not the live show. I listen to Black Rubber Motorcycle Club. I think they've toured together before, so kind of a.
Oh yeah.
Are they like a psychedelic rock vibe?
Yeah, kind of like garage music, psychedelic kind of vibe. But the sort of more pointed part of it is that their live sets are kind of famous for the sort of like a confrontation. Anton, in a sense, is a massive piece of shit. So, I love him. He's an amazing artist, but also he's clearly a massive piece of shit. And he sort of gets off on through the gig showing off his massive piece of shitness, almost like that's like a character that people have come to expect now.
Okay.
So there's different points in the gig where he'll just be making his fellow band member's life like a living hell. There was this whole bit on stage where he was dressing down the other dude, telling him that he needs to this isn't a cafe, man. You got to look at the crowd. You got to stand face the fucking crowd, okay? And then all the while he's then playing with his back to the crowd. And then he like just picked various fights with different people in the audience. Got a couple of people either threatened to get them kicked out or actually got them kicked out when they started like shouting shit back. There was a point where I felt like there was almost like some sort of ruckus a brewing, because there was like drink fucking holders being thrown at the stage. It was a fucking vibe, man. My favorite part was like there was a bit where he was like he generally took about 5 minutes between songs, right? And like tune up and just like this is just not on him to go like song to song, bam bam bam. You got to make the people feel like they want it, you know, draw it out a little bit. I get that from a storytelling perspective. And he was like, you know what, I'm a fucking human and I need to piss, so I'm gonna go and I'll be back in around 5 minutes. I'm gonna go piss. This is during the set, by the way. So then we get like the other band members put together this really cool, almost like Grateful Dead-esque like jam sesh while he was pissing.
You almost wonder if like that was all a bit.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, dude. So that's what I was going to say. It's like almost reminded me a bit of pro wrestling, to where it's like he's almost like a heel pro wrestler. And it's like he's almost purposely being like a bad guy kind of deal.
He's baby facing the rest of the band. I know. I mean, he's baby facing the rest of the band by being the heel and ripping into him. Like the fans are like, "Oh, now I'm rooting for that bass player to fucking knock him out."
when are we going to get the comeback of the dude on Triangle? You know?
Yeah, Anton needs his comeuppance.
But you sort of know what to expect with that. So it's like I sort of look at it as like it's a whole kind of like almost like a performance art kind of deal, similar to wrestling. You know, it's like the whole thing is you're paying for the entire spectacle. But then there's some people who like don't really know what to expect, and I think they were the ones that were getting like kind of like audibly pissed off. But my girlfriend Kayla, she also had like no idea what to expect, and she was just like, what the fuck is going on? This guy is such an asshole.
That's awesome.
And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. But yeah, unique gig experience. Would recommend.
Sounds fun.
Maybe not for everybody.
Just don't stand in front. Don't make eye contact with Anton.
Yeah, exactly. There's an amazing documentary actually out. It's a bit of an old one. Let me just double check the name of it. Dig was a 2004 documentary that covered the rise of the Dandy Warhols and Brian Jonestown Massacre, because they both kind of like came up in the same scene. And the movie's fantastic because it captures like sort of the implosion of the two. I would say Brian Jonestown Massacre way more talented as a band, but like the implosion of the band, again probably because of Anton's piece of shittedness, and the rise of the Dandy Warhols. Fantastic music documentary. Would recommend. That's my plug for the week.
So Brian Jonestown is also a Portland act?
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Warhols.
Oh no, I think they're more San Francisco actually.
Oh, so but
similar,
fairly
West Coast
close.
scene.
Yeah, the Warhols are rad, man. I really the song Lou Weed, where they basically are doing an impression of the Velvet Underground, is a great tune. Have you heard that one?
I don't think I have, but I am a big Velvet Underground Lou Reed fan.
Oh yeah, so I think you would enjoy it.
It's
called Lou Weed.
I will check that out. Man, this has been tremendous. This is a real throwback to our classic grown men watch this shit days.
Yes, us rambling about random stuff that just pops into our head. Yeah, for sure.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, sir. It's because we haven't spoken in forever.
Yeah, man.
And we're making it through this. There's a slight bit of delay, and hey, we're fighting through it. It's fine.
It's fine. You know, I might tighten that up in post. I might not. We'll see how we go.
Who cares, buddy?
But anyway, yeah. I'm sure everyone sort of expects a height of professionalism from this show, similar to our last one. We did make it to 49 episodes. Not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but that's an accomplishment.
I was hoping a nice round 50 would have been beautiful.
Isn't it funny the way things work out?
For a farewell show. Get back together for the farewell.
Yeah, we can finally do that show that's entirely nonsense. The one where we never actually get to talk about the wrestling we always teased.
That'd be great. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. We could have like all of the guests, former guests of the show. We'll get John on. We'll get Ben on.
Didn't we?
Be a
Who
great
did we
time.
have as actual wrestler? Didn't we have Bronson Reed on? No.
Yeah, we had Jonah on.
I don't know who this Jonah character is.
Oh, Mr. Bronson, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Australian bastard son of Charles Bronson, I assume. Is that what the name indicates?
I imagine so. All these Australian wrestlers. Oh, speaking of fucking Australian wrestlers, but Kyle's getting some now that Marcus Dunk Davis is hurt. You know, you got to fucking step up, and they've got Kyle standing in a suit next to Don Callis. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, good for him. I think anytime you have like a tag team where one dude's on the out, it's always a weird thing where one of the, he takes a breather till his partner comes back, or does he get a bit of a singles kind of push ski? And yeah, I think from the sounds of it, he's been killing it. I always thought Kyle was like mad talented. I reckon he's one of these dudes that's like, give him a few years and he'll be like, next Will Ospreay kind of deal. You know what I mean?
For sure. I just hope they slide Davis back in there, because I honestly,
for sure,
Davis is tremendous. And they put him over big when he was there. What actually is the injury? Do you know what happened? I don't look into injury reports too often.
That pay-per-view match they had against FTR, the Wrestle Dream show in Seattle. He broke his wrist mid-match and then kept fucking wrestling with it. I don't know if you noticed if you watched that one, but he basically continued to wrestle the match one-handed for about the last third of the match. Just some fucking baller,
that's a
All
tough
Japan
guy shit.
big balls wrestler kind of style.
Yeah, man.
Mad respect to that, but it probably wasn't very good for his wrist because it's all fucked up. So yeah, he's out for an indefinite amount of time. But yeah, big love to Davis. I hope you get well soon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Always a big fan of that tag team, and him especially. He was super kind to me. I never really got to chat with Kyle, but yeah, Davis is a good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think they're obviously one of the best tag teams going, and when they do get back together, I feel that they obviously need that proper big time run at the top of the AEW tag division with the strap them on up.
Yep.
Hopefully that happens soon.
Hell yeah.
But we are here not to talk about AEW, not to talk about the various other things that we've talked about so far today, but we are here to talk about...
I got into the Kinsey scale. Things got weird.
I think this is one of our best, fucking ADD all over the place, batshit crazy chats we've had so far. Where either, got people being like, what the fuck is this? Or, I don't know. Anyway, we were here to talk about the match of the week, and the match of the week this week that I picked was a timely one, based on the return after 3 years off on the shelf of one of my favorite wrestlers to ever do it, reigniting one of the greatest rivalries and series of matches that I can remember in quite a while. The return of Chris Hero, and reigniting that feud that had a series of just great acclaimed matches that they had over the years of him and Timothy Thatcher. So they had the big West Coast show over the weekend that was Hero's comeback, wrestling Thatcher for the first time since I want to say it was 2015 or something. You'd think I should know this, but anyway. But it got me going down a bit of a...
I believe that is the case.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I'm giving myself a bit of a pat on the back there. But it got me going down a rabbit hole. I watched the sick highlight video that... there were two, actually, that I want to make mention of. So there was one that was an awesome breakdown of all of the matches that they had, and sort of a real insight historian kind of thing, picking up all of the best thing about this series of matches, right, is like all the little nods and callbacks and that kind of shit. And this video did a tremendous job of summing that all up and priming you for this one. But the video that Joseph Montecillo put together, awesome watch. That was so well done. And watching that got me up to the PWG match. And then I was like, you know what? I actually really want to just rewatch this match, you know, just straight up. I don't want to just watch it in sort of like highlight form. So then I just popped it in. I fired up the old High Spots subscription, and I chucked on BOLA 2015, and I watched that match, and gosh darn it, that match was a bloody rip snorter. All about it. So much fun. So that became my match of the week. Their PWG match in their amazing series. And then obviously I got to watch the comeback match this past Saturday as well, which was just a delightful time too. But my friend, I specifically knew that I had, of all people, to get on this show to talk about this match. When I was watching this match at PWG at our beautiful Reseda American Legion post number 308, beautiful. Legion Larry's house. Just one of the greatest wrestling venues of all time. When I was watching it, they brawl on the outside, and who do I bloody see? Who's standing there with his beer, with his Bullet Club shirt, with his oversized glasses, but my dear friend, Mr. Uncle Beak.
Hey!
What the heck? What a great little surprise. So I'm like, of course, you got to get you on here. You were there.
Indeed. It's always fun to watch like GIFs of me, like all of a sudden either not paying attention or getting really excited about what's going on, because people GIF the hell out of PWG. And I've been lucky enough to make it to a lot of BOLAs and seeing a lot of good GIFable matches. But yeah, I didn't even know that this existed, this particular moment. So I'm like, all right, Chris, I got to see this. So I looked it up. It's pretty funny, actually. Like, they get really close to me, and I'm almost like miffed that I have to get out of their way. And then all of a sudden I realize the camera is right next to me, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a camera.
The best bit was like, I tell you this with a message, right? And you're like, oh, did I look excited? And I was like, no, you looked like, if anything, you were annoyed that they were interrupting you drinking your beer and you had to get out of their way.
It sounded like I was selling it, and then I looked at it. No, I was more like, oh, okay, everyone, move out of the way. Because I had already moved a lot at that particular moment. If you watch the match yourself, you'll see that they're brawling in this one area, an area that I had already cleared out of. And then all of a sudden, they just start literally fighting my direction. And I'm like, okay, I guess I got to get out of the way. I'm such a big guy. And then I realized, like, I do got to get out of the way. I'm too big to stand here.
I mean, for people who may not be familiar with that beautiful little shitty Legion Hall, it's quite a cramped, quarters there. And these bowlers at that time were like probably the hottest ticket in wrestling, and so they're just like packed as many motherfuckers in there like sardines as you humanly can. It's kind of part of the experience that like you're going to get a pitcher of beer spilt on you. Like when people get excited enough, that's just like there's no way around it. You know what I mean?
You're gonna lose beer that way. And then also to go back, I was wearing a sweet Bullet Club bandana, not sunglasses. I don't wear sunglasses inside during BOLA, you silly goose.
For some reason, my mental image of you had you in oversized sunglasses, looking like fucking Mr. What's his name from MLW?
Oh, Mr. Saint Laurent.
Yeah, MSL.
Yes.
I would say you were a much more handsome gentleman than MSL.
Not
to poo-poo on Mr. Saint Laurent too much.
Oh, no means, no. Yeah, dude, that's the best part of going to the Reseda Legion Hall. Like, seriously, like meeting people and just being elbow to elbow with literally crazy ass marks like yourself, like the weirdo marks.
Dude, that's how we originally met,
travel,
right?
100%. That's the best part. That's how I met Open Mike Eagle. Just sitting there, and I realized I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, "Hey, wait a minute. He looks like this rapper I'm a fan of." And I just said, "Are you Mike?" And he's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Oh shit!" It's fucking crazy shit.
Such a chill dude.
Oh yeah,
I think I met him at maybe the MLW after party of like Wale Mania that one year. Just such a chill, nice guy.
For sure. But yeah, people who didn't get to make it out there missed out, unfortunately.
Oh man, it still makes me like so sad to think that the Legion Hall, the home of PWG and beautiful scenic Reseda, no longer exists. But you know, it is what it is. We celebrate the memories. You know, be happy that it happened. Don't be sad that it's over. That's the way I like to look at it.
That's beautiful. Did you think of that?
Oh, that's a Chris Things original right there.
Fucking A, bro. Shirts. Put that on shirts. Do you think Legion Larry is still with us?
Oh, I hope so. I man. So I only got to go to Reseda once, and it was for the final BOLA that ever took place in Reseda.
Was that the year he made me line leader?
I think it might have been.
Leveling out these responsibilities for whatever reason. You have to keep this line in order. Okay, Larry.
So great. He was like my main memory of Legion Larry, that one that I got to, was I love there's such a whole thing of like the way Excalibur does like the intro to the show and everything, and his beautiful catchphrase and start of show monologue, almost like we're at a live taping of Letterman. But the part of it is that, you know, there is no smoking allowed in the Legion Hall in Reseda. The moment that he says no smoking, Legion Larry is at the back of the hall. He lights up his cigar. Legion Larry does what he wants.
Hell yeah, he does. That's hilarious. People miss Legion Larry, for those who have never met the gentleman, kind of looks like Dr. Farnsworth from Futurama, but as an old man. Well, he's an old man, but in a gray sweater and jeans and smoking a cigarette or a cigar. Yeah, looks
He's
identical.
like a hard-ass old Vietnam vet, basically.
Didn't take no shit from us stupid-ass wrestling fans.
Oh man, just the best. I hope Legion Larry is living the good life after selling up his old American Legion post number 308.
Highlight one last thing about Legion Larry is when Max Landis showed up with pizza for everybody, and Legion Larry got pissed.
What was it like about no eating in the hall? He didn't want like pizza to be all over the place?
No, they were outside. It was just too many people congregating eating pizza, and like it became a whole rigmarole about all these pizzas that were out there. It was he might have been overreaching. Maybe he was just annoyed for whatever reason. Maybe he didn't get a slice of pizza. I can't be sure.
Who's to say? Oh man, such beautiful memories. This is just one of the greatest atmospheres you would ever experience in wrestling. Like the big bucket list one that I've got remaining is to see a big show in Arena Mexico, like a big CMLL show. That's sort of my last proper like bucket list item for famous wrestling venues to go to. But like I've been to like Sumo Hall in Tokyo, or like Korakuen Hall, both incredible venues, but I don't know if either of them have the same kind of magic in the air that those big PWG shows in Reseda had.
That's wild. Yeah, when you said that you saw me, and you're like, I know I was there, but I've only seen the match that one time in person, so I'd love to watch it back with you. I didn't realize how close now that I was sitting to Dave Meltzer. Like he was just like a couple chairs over, and Charlie Saxton was right there too. Oh man, I miss PWG.
Man, same. I shout out to Super Dragon. Sounds like he's gone through it a bit tough at the moment.
For sure.
With the illness of his partner. So that's sort of a bit of an explanation why PWG's kind of been a little bit on hiatus lately. But man, take it easy, no rush. Get back to it when you get back to it. Us PWG faithful are a patient bunch, and we'll be back when you're back.
For sure. And then scary enough on that. They almost lost their venue because the Globe
Yeah,
was
the
near
new venue.
closure. Yeah, fucking wild.
Which that would have been a wild time because that I mean it was never quite Reseda, but it's a lovely venue. I've heard like mixed things of some people saying they don't really like it, but I thought it was
The
way
reason their
cool.
complaints are is the drinks are super expensive, which I totally understand. The phone reception in there is pretty shitty. That's
Oh
another.
yeah, it was like a black hole, right?
And yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. And it's like the area looks kind of scuzzy. I think that's the reason why people didn't like it. But when you're in there and you're not worried about your phone, you're just there to watch wrestling. It's beautiful.
It's nice. Like the air conditioning's nice. Like it's so much more of a comfortable environment to watch wrestling compared to what we were saying about like Reseda being this like fucking sweatbox. I mean, you're right about the drinks. You don't quite get those cheap. How much were the jugs back in the day at Reseda?
I think you got a whole pitcher of beer. I think it was like between 12 and 14. It was like super cheap. And that was a whole pitcher of fucking beer.
So great. I got so fucking drunk off the
The other thing about the Globe is that was rad is this is probably, rad for selective people, but they had a smoking area where people are just straight up just blazing weed, like doing dabs, like full on getting danked as fuck. And that smell's coming in and no one from the building is saying shit.
And so in a sense, the magic of the Reseda car park did transfer over to the Globe in that smokers area, and you just being able to get blazed, and everyone's like, yeah, dude, no problem.
And people seem like way more. Honestly, I'll be 100% in Reseda. People did kind of stick to groups when they were getting stoned, but when you're up in that fucking smoking area, everyone's like, yeah, here, take this, here, take this. Like you're getting shit passed from you every which way. It's fucking wild.
It's a beautiful community environment, I would say. So I'm very happy that the Globe is sticking around after that scary little moment where we thought it was closing down forever.
Mm-hmm.
You were actually the one that told me the good news on that one. I didn't even know.
You know who told me? Well, not told me, but I saw it. I guess he did try to tell me as well. Fucking Sean, Hot Tub, dude. Hot Tub knew the scoop.
That's a blast from the past.
Oh yeah, I went and hung out with some friends down there, and I actually went to Hot Tub's house and hung out with her and kicked and did some dabs. It was fun.
Did you actually get in the hot tub?
I did not. His house was. I had totally different expectations before I went over to his house, but yeah, it was surprisingly like not totally crazy. He's got a lot of plush stuffed animals in his room that are just everywhere, which was hilarious. I'm like, Sean, you got a lot of plush dolls.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. They were just fucking everywhere, and he was showing them off to me. It's like a dog when you get a toy. He's like, hey, look at this thing I got. He just showed me all his plush. It was fun.
Dig that.
All right. We should talk about this wrestling match, not Sean and his
Probably
plush.
should. The journey has continued.
Yes, indeed. So this match was crazy because, of course, everyone had anticipation because the previous matches were so well received. But this match started off with literally a minute and a half of exchange of chants of "Let's go Hero, let's go Thatcher" for a minute and a half as Chris Hero just meandered around the Legion Hall. I thought that was pretty great. What do you think of that?
He soaked up that chant as much as anyone possibly could. Like he was conducting those motherfuckers like a orchestra maestro. I loved it. It like
beautiful.
sort of totally captured a bit of that magic that we're talking about the venue and the PWG fans and everything too, which I love. But yeah, just such an atmosphere from the go. Like these motherfuckers are hot as shit, hype as fuck. They're like, this was officially night 2 of BOLA, so like first round, but they would sort of separate the first round over 2 nights at that point. But yeah, man, so great to see like just everyone was just molten from the get-go.
And then you also had on commentary here was with Excalibur was Chuck Taylor, who is always very amusing. And when you're live and in person, you don't get to hear the hilarious quirky comments of Chuck Taylor. So I finally got to listen to this back. It was tremendous.
So good.
When they first started out talking about Tim's teeth and how, he is British. They're still selling the British gimmick, which at this point I think everyone knew that was a fucking nonsense. But that really made me chuckle.
So good. I really loved Excalibur and Sexy Chucky T, the commentary team of PWG back in the day so much. Like, just walking that line beautifully of, like, semi-serious when they need to be, but also just ridiculous.
Very silly. PWG commentary was great.
So good. It's such an interesting counterpoint now. You hear Excalibur, like, doing professional commentary for AEW, and like to throw back and listen to some like classic era PWG and get like that complete contrast. It's pretty great.
Yeah, there was even a throwback to, he even pops himself throwing back to his old commentary. At one point, I think Chuck Taylor says Thatcher's a big boy, and then he's like, I was like, not like Generico's a big boy though, right? You know that old famous call, El Generico's a big boy, and then Kevin Steen's on commentary, or Kevin Owens, he's like, what? What did you say? I've never heard you say that before. It was so funny.
Classic.
Oh man, but yeah. This match was actually because I watched that breakdown video. I don't think the IQ Wrestler one. I think it was the other one that you sent me.
That's the other one that I want to put over as well. I was going to say IQ Wrestler's music video, just the sort of hype of the entire feud. So bloody well done. I'm a big fan of his work in particular.
Very, very talented individual. But yeah, the other matches did seem to have like similar vibes. This one to me, it felt like almost like, forget that other stuff we were doing. There may be a little bit of leaning toward that, but we're kind of doing a different thing here, more of in your face, because it was really fucking gritty. And
it was,
maybe because I didn't see the complete matches, the other ones, but this one.
I mean, there were definitely some throwbacks in this one,
sure.
And some little things that I'll be talking about later, especially like into the finish and stuff like that. But start to finish, it like had such a rad energy to it, and I guess it's an interesting thing too. Like, so you got this series of matches. The first one I think actually took place in fucking that, what was that weird TV project from the Kickstarter that never actually got off
Wrestling
the ground.
Retribution or something?
That's the one, Wrestling Retribution project with Ryan Katz, was it?
Speaking of Joey Ryan.
Oh man, but so that was sort of like a bit of an unofficial part of the series, and then we went on, and I think the first two matches were in like Evolve and WWN, so Gabe's sort of company. So this was the first one in PWG, and PWG in a sense, it's like it's got its own kind of its own fans that like know the lore of PWG and the history of PWG, and that's it. So like what happens outside of PWG doesn't really count. But I thought this walked the line really well of sort of, in a way, if you're in the know, acknowledging some of the stuff that previously happened, but it also totally works if you have no idea of the previous stuff that happened.
For sure.
But yeah, the early part of it was like so rad of like the just the sort of like counter wrestling and like some of the early submission stuff. I remember there was a particular one where Thatcher's like really working over Hero's knee. And this is the first one where it like caught me. I was like, "Oh, this could be the visual for the illustration," Because when I'm watching this as well, I'm sort of keeping an eye out, thinking, "All right, this match is so great. I think this could be my match of the week." So I'm, taking the screen grab here or there as my reference for the illustration, and that was my first one where I was like, "Oh, that's pretty damn sick." But yeah, that early part, and then the way it escalates and then gets into the strikes, I thought it just did such a great job of like escalation of violence is the way that I put it.
Hell yeah. And early in the match there was a spot where Chris Hero basically got knocked out and it looked like he was dead, and kind of the previous matches they were selling how Chris Hero couldn't knock Tim out no matter how hard he tried, and then Timothy Thatcher essentially knocks him out early in this fucking match. I loved how Tim sold the dead weight by like rolling him over with his head and pushing him really slowly, and like just basically he couldn't move him because he's such a big guy, so he had to like literally put his full body weight to roll him over to try to get a pinfall attempt. Those little things, I fucking love that kind of stuff.
So good. And like that sort of dead cell, or what's the actual name of it? I think there's this manner of selling actually sort of has been made illegal in AEW, if we're to believe the dirt sheets. What is it? The corpse pose. That's it. Apparently corpse pose is against the rules now, so you can't get away with that kind of selling. I don't know, deal with that, but
I'm cool with them getting rid of the seizure selling, because that stuff, especially because the referees may not know, like that gets complicated. But yeah, somebody looking like a corpse, you think that should be totally fine?
Yeah, I mean, how are you meant to sell if like we're just ruling out like realistic selling? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anyway, that's a sidebar.
I just loved how Hero like kicking this guy in the chin constantly on the apron repeatedly, and Tim just sticking his chin out and eating it like a fucking maniac.
That bit on the apron with the repeated like Hero doing those big mafia kicks, and then Thatcher like holding onto that top rope and not going off the apron and just doing this great moment of like, fuck you, give me another one kind of thing. That was like such an awesome moment. And that I think is where it really got the crowd in and like brought them up to another level of just like, what we're seeing is fucking magic.
Yeah, that's right before they showed up in front of my face. Like Chris, after that moment is when Chris goes and jumps feet first between the second and the bottom rope and lands like a crazy man. Like that shit is so dangerous. You imagine catching your chin on the fucking second rope as you're going through, dude. You'd fuck yourself up. But yeah, he lands there perfectly, and then Tim jumps down and they just start brawling all around the ring. And the fans of the PWG, as soon as the bell starts, their chairs, which normally have like a foot, maybe a foot and a half between the ring. No, they just push them all the way up into the ring. So sometimes they literally have to like pick up all their chairs and move out of the way. It's ridiculous.
It is complete chaos. Like, just that it makes like the brawling in the crowd all the more like, how are people not like just getting seriously injured from having wrestlers fall on them in the years of PWG at Reseda? I don't know.
Imagine it's happened at least once or twice, but maybe no one's too litigious. They're like, hey man, I knew the risk. I didn't get out of the way.
It's part of being, part of the PWG family. You may have a motherfucker fall on you. You get up, you dust yourself off. No big deal.
100%. One time I was at PWG and my chair broke out from under me. You know what I did? I got up and got another chair.
There you go.
So there. Not a very good example. Also, after they did this, when they were fighting so rudely by me, they started. Tim was just European uppercutting him all around the ring, and he knocked him down like right by the entryway, and Tim started wiping his feet.
Yes,
like the cocky way that people do.
Like
and Chuck Taylor yes. Chuck Taylor's on commentary. He's like, maybe he got some beer on his shoe and he's drying it off.
Which, like, to be fair, like knowing that venue, 50% chance that would happen.
100%. That could have also been true.
So good.
I love it.
Yeah, the other bit, I was like, it's funny when you're looking at this from sort of like an illustration perspective. That moment that we were just talking about with like the kicking him off the apron and that like moment of defiance or whatever. That was like, I was like, oh, this is fucking magic. I want to get like a reference to this. But the way like like we were saying last time, sometimes the camera just like doesn't get in the position you would really love to get like a nicely framed reference shot there. So I was like, fuck, I wish the camera just got a little bit more in there. That was magic. So I couldn't go with that one. The other thing I was thinking about, there was some nice like Euros and there were all those big Yakuza Mafia kicks going on. That was pretty rad. But I was like, like Hero hitting like a Mafia kick. It's a sick visual, but like it's been done kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
it's like a lot of rad art out there of him doing that. But then the moment that caught me was that one of just Hero's fucking selling after. I think Hero was on Thatcher for a bit, and then Thatcher caught him with something and just knocked him loopy. And then Hero's like doing this massive sell job, and then he has this like his face like resting on that bottom rope. and he just has this like amazing, like far out glassy-eyed look on his face. Like, my life just got fucked up.
Yeah, I think it was something happened and somebody went for a pinfall, one of the two, and then there was a kick out, and then Chris was just laying there on the ropes. Yeah, that was a tremendous visual. You're 100% correct.
So good. And then it also got even better because then in the background, Thatcher's like just boning on up, like he's got in that classic sort of like pose that you see him in quite a bit, where he's like on his knees, and he's just got this look of like fucking like grouchy temerity on his face. He's got like the fists like balled up, and just like, I don't know, just captured so much of the magic of like sort of the awesomeness of Heroes selling and like Thatcher's character and sort of like thing of the match. I dug it. That was the moment where I was like, all right, we're done here. That's the moment.
I think that was after maybe like the series with the snap pile driver. It might have been what that was. But there was a really good spot. I don't know if you caught this when Chris was going for the Gotch style pile driver, and as soon as his hands clasped is when Tim did the back body drop. Like he would have had to hear him say now for him to like do it so perfectly timing. Like, 'cause you thought he was going to snap it again, but no. Back body drop. So good.
So much of the timing of these guys, like that's I think my favorite thing about like this Hero Thatcher whole like series is just their level of chemistry, I guess. You know, it's like you rarely see dudes that just have such a magical chemistry, and what you're saying, like timing and like just that real split second timing, that to me is like that real magic of dudes that just like fucking gel with one another as like dream opponents kind of thing, you know?
For sure. I actually wanted to talk to you about something I didn't really consider before. What is the difference between the Yakuza kick and the bicycle kick? It's just like, aren't they the same thing? That's what Chris Hero does. Like,
I would say not technically. So for me, as a definition, a Yakuza or Mafia kick is sort of your big boot kind of thing, like running big boot even.
Like Trent Acid did.
Yeah, Trent Acid, man. That he always had one of the bloody best, or like Chono as well, really the master of it.
Maybe it's because they fucked up during the match and called it a Yakuza kick when he did one of the pump bicycle kicks, and I got confused because I definitely was familiar with Trent Acid's version being specifically different. He's like literally running and putting the bottom of the foot through somebody's chest. Like that's essentially what's going on there.
Yeah, all through their face, as you see a lot of the time in this match. But I mean, the pump kick or bicycle kick to me was always more like your classic like Akira Tozawa kind of one, where they like visibly jump up off the other leg, and then you have that sort of like swish scissor sort of like
for sure,
effect.
like Sheamus kind of does.
Yeah. That would be my my expert differentiation on those two.
I also, back to the commentary, I just toward the end of the match, Chuck and Excalibur just started going off about Tim's face and how grizzled he looks, and it's just running this man's face down. It's so funny.
I love it. It's really part of one of the best features of Thatcher. Just this grizzled looking motherfucker, and like he leads into it, with like the fact that the missing tooth and everything.
Yeah, 100%. I saw a picture the other day of him smiling. Actually, he's in the background of this photo where Black Taurus is holding the dick of an inflatable sex doll, and Tim's in the background looking over, just like really amused that he's shaking this dick. So good.
So that's all we need to get the rare, ultra rare smile of Timothy Thatcher. You just need a fucking strap on or a dildo of some sort.
But you have to be a luchador, a Taurus man, some sort of minotaur.
That's his specific joy. Who are we to question that?
That's the man's kink.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I ain't no kink shamer.
No, sir. I've never known you to be one, sir. Not my experience.
Oh man, but just tremendous, and like what you're saying about like the timing, just like the beautiful timing of that like snap quick as fuck, like pile driver. No one to me has ever done that as good as Hero. Like I know Tony Storm was doing that for a while, but like it's not the same thing.
No. And if
Hero's
people are
just a
not getting
master.
hurt at all, then that's clean as fuck, and hats off to Chris.
Yeah, for sure. Just like so many ways, like I always put over Hero. Just like what he's doing is like just something that's on another level to what everyone else is doing, you know?
And there's right before the finish, or what? Actually, there was a false finish that was really good. But right before that, there was a part where Tim was trying to get up, and he had to use Chris's Hero to even get himself on his feet, and then Chris just landed a series of elbows on him, and you would think a man who was just barely able to stand up would fall down, but that's one of the moments where Tim just nutted up. His ugly face came out again. He started putting his chin out and everything. So you can't underappreciate the man's facial selling. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's one of the real magical points of wrestling, like the dudes that have those just like facial expressions make such a big impact to me of like good pro wrestling. Like you think of a dude like a William Regal, and those just mastery of facial expressions. Thatcher's just so rad.
Yeah. Hence why you picked that awesome expression of Chris to do your art. Like he looks so dazed and out of sorts. And like he's like, do I have to continue doing this? Because it doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, and yeah, that finishing stretch, man, like that bloody tombstone, just one of the nicest, most snug looking tombstones that you ever did see.
But it looked like he totally slipped out of his hands too at the same time and literally landed on his head. It was like in a whole match where everything was so beautiful, it almost was like the perfect ugly way to end this tremendous match, because he's just like bonk on your head.
Yeah, it looked like he fucking murdered him. I love it. I mean, they're my favorite kind of like pile drivers or tombstones, like the ones that really look like ugly and messy. Like it's the same thing if you ever see any Billy Robinson stuff. The way he did his sort of like tombstone variation was very similar, where he'd kind of like drop the dude as he did it, so it kind of just looked like really like messy and gnarly. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hero specifically was inspired by Billy in that way.
Yeah,
perhaps.
And actually, you know what? The picture you talked about, I thought it was based off something early in the match. I think that came off of the first. They had a false finish here where there was like a flurry by Tim. They go off the ropes, and then Chris Hero sets up for the death blow, and then Tim hits him with a headbutt, and then that's when they go for the pin.
So good.
Everyone bites. Like literally the entire crowd thought that was the finish, and then Chris popped out. Then he landed on the ropes and was like, "Oh, I survived that. That's fucking bananas."
Such a perfect near
choice
fall.
shot, by the way, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's I get a little bit blurry on the exact moment of the match where it sort of
I just took some good notes,
but just such an iconic visual.
Yeah,
good job, sir. You're bringing the professionalism here. I'll admit I did not take any notes for this match.
I would have forgot, bro. It's more so this show wasn't me and you just talking about, oh yeah, it was so good. What happened? I don't know, but remember how good it was? It was like good.
It's a funny thing sometimes when you're remembering wrestling, right? It's like sometimes you don't remember the specifics, but you remember how the moments made you feel.
100%.
And I think that's a sign of a truly great match.
Agreed.
That's just my bullshit excuse on not taking notes.
No, I don't disagree with you, because normally I don't remember a lot of stuff from matches. I definitely more about the vibe that I came away from. Like if it was like a hero's victory, or the villain got over and how that makes me feel. But when you're going on to a podcast and like when I'm breaking it down, you kind of want to be able to say, hey, this specific thing happened. And hey,
definitely helps.
This is your show, pal. Do you want to phone it in? If you want to phone it in, hey, by all means. Just kidding.
Hey, I'll let you know. I took notes on the previous one, okay?
No problem.
This one, nah.
I gotta give you a bit of a hard time.
I appreciate a bit of ball busting. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. That's what gives us our magical dynamic, you know. We're not afraid to do a little busting of the balls.
No, sir, not at all.
Yeah, I like it. But yeah, bloody tremendous match. And I was just like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is just. It doesn't get better than this. Of course, this is going to be the match of the week. And then we went on to watch the rematch that just happened the other day. And also a great
How
match.
was that? I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
I mean, it was so interesting. Great write up on it. I want to put over Joseph Montecillo again. He has a website, josephmontecillo.com, where he does a bunch of rad match reviews. And his level of like breaking down an insight and critical analysis of these matches is, I just can't say enough good things about it. Sometimes, like, I love Uncle Dave, right? But sometimes you're reading the newsletter and he's, everyone, like, obviously puts so much into his match reviews and how many stars it gets or whatever. But when he's talking about the match, a lot of the time, the only real thing, he'll just kind of like describe the moves that happened and like almost like give a bit of a play-by-play of it. And he doesn't actually put that much into a critical analysis of the match, like whether it's from like an artistic perspective or a storytelling perspective or whatever. Whereas I thought Joseph just did such a great job of breaking that down and made me really kind of think about it a bit more. So I want to make sure to put over him. But the big sort of like contrasting thing that I thought of these two matches, obviously this one that just happened on Saturday was like after Hero coming back from a massive time off. So obviously like his cardio and that isn't going to be in the same place as when it was at this time. So it was noticeably slower and a bit more methodical, if that made sense. Whereas this one was like a lot more like fast paced for the fast kind of bits. Yeah. I mean, also, I do put over the recent one because there was almost like so many slow bits that made those like big impactful sort of moments mean more. So that's kind of a cool pacing deal, I guess. I think as well, one of the other things that Joe Montecillo dude said that I thought was a great point is when you watch that final match, if you're just watching that as a one-off without sort of like the knowledge of the previous matches, I think you wouldn't be as impressed. But when you watch it within the scope of this entire series and realize all of the teasers and the callbacks and all these little subtleties that are going on, that's like, oh, this is a callback to match number 4. This is a tease of what happened in match number 5, I think it means all the more. So I definitely feel like when you're watching it in that sense, and if that is sort of like the end of the series, I thought it was great work. As a one-off, I think this match that we're talking about, the PWG match, was the better match in my opinion. But I just love watching these dudes wrestle at the end of the day.
Fuck yeah, I'll definitely check it out. If they put it up on YouTube for people to view for free, I can see why they wouldn't keep it up there. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that if they have sort of more of a final edited version that they release or like put on, I don't know what streaming service they're on, independentwrestling.tv, I think. My only complaint of this show was that I thought the audio mixing was like fucking trash and like frustrated the shit out of me, because I don't know about you, but I get so annoyed when like they have the commentators up really loud and then the house sound really low. So they had that, so it like really took away from, you couldn't really hear a lot of the strikes and stuff that was going on, or like the crowd noise as much. And then the other thing that really sucked was they actually had, and this is like more from like a bit of an audio nerd perspective, but they had the sound from each camera coming from the individual camera. So when they cut from the main camera, I can't remember the name of it, but you know what I mean, like the main one that has the whole ring, and then they cut to the hard cam to the ringside cam, it actually changed audio from one camera to the other, so you had like a noticeable difference.
That's hilarious.
Fuck, annoyed the shit out of me, dude. I was like, Like, there's some really good points of this show, but like that side of it just annoyed the shit out of me. So hopefully they tidy that up in post. Yeah.
I saw he had his boots off at the end. Did he announce retirement, or
Yeah.
what's going on?
So he teased the whole thing before the match. He posted during the day, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to have an announcement after the match. And I was like, oh, fuck, and I was kind of get that little bit of dread because I don't want to see like one of my favorite wrestlers ever retire. So then after the match, he did a nice little after the match speech and that, and had some fun with the crowd, and it's just like really good. But then he like slowly like took off his boots, he like unzipped them, put them in the ring. The audience got deathly quiet. You could hear like a pin drop. And everyone was just like, oh, fuck, like the breath has gone out. Like, oh, shit, we just seen Chris Hero's last ever match. And they were so quiet for this extended period. Just like zoom in on the boots in the ring. And they're his like West Coast Pro specific like signature boots. Mm-hmm. So they say like West Coast on each of the boots, which is pretty cool boots. And then he was just like, I was fucking man. I just like see these cool boots.
I paid a lot for these boots, so I'm just not gonna retire.
Oh man! So I was like, it's funny. You sort of like, in a way, you're like a little bit pissed off for like the near like heart palpitations that you get out of this, like your heart just sinking. But then it's like you get the happiness of knowing obviously it's not over. And then they announced fucking his. Sorry,
I was gonna say it's like thinking you're 38 when you find out you're 37. It's like. Yeah. Oh man, I was bummed out, but this is great news.
Speaking of callbacks, well done, sir. Well done. But yeah, then they go on to announce it's going to be Hero teaming with Kenta on the next show, which I'm super stoked about.
That should be rad.
Yeah, so I'm very, very pumped. Happy to see Hero back. He did say in his post-match speech sort of like how much kind of happiness like wrestling and getting to have matches and all of that kind of like gave him, and how it was sort of like a bit of a dark time when he was like away from wrestling in that sense, which I sort of like related to in a weird way from like, I mean, obviously, like, my own day wrestling, I wouldn't compare in any sense to someone as great as Hero. But in the same way, it's sort of like when I had to finish and I was told by doctors I couldn't ever wrestle again, there was, like, this really weird adjustment period where I was just like, life is just strange now without, like, having this thing that was, like, such a normal or big part of your life for, like, 5 years. So I could sort of, like, relate in a sense to him in that way.
Totally, I understand that for sure.
Yeah, but no, great match, great podcast, man. It was a real fun episode.
Thanks for having me, man. I love it.
Oh, dude, absolutely welcome. Thank you for coming on the show, and I'd love to keep this a semi-regular thing of having you on every now and then, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Oh, thank you. I've missed it very much.
Yeah, I miss you, man. It's been too long.
Aww.
I want a hug.
Aww. Hug over the airways, bro.
Yeah, things got weird here at the end. We gotta go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for doing the show, my dude. I'll throw to you. You got any plugs, skis?
Yeah, you can follow me on social media at Jaims Vanderbeek. It's Jaims Vanderbeek on both Instagram and Twitter and Threads. I think it's similar on Blue Sky or whatever. But also, I am part of a wrestling promotion called SOS Pro Wrestling. We are on IWTV, so you can watch us there, listen to watch our most recent shows. Woo! And we go live at least once a month. Our next show is on December 8th, so you can listen to me remark and comment about professional wrestling as it occurs live in the professional wrestling ring. And it's awesome, Chris. A couple of shows back, they chanted for me. They chanted James. It was tremendous.
Ooh, dang. That's nice.
Hearing people chant even your fake name is rad as hell.
Love it. I love that for you. That's awesome. And make sure that we will not forget plugging your timekeeper duties for Defy.
Oh, yes, indeed. I ring a bell periodically for Defy. I was bummed, man. I thought I was gonna do timekeeping for GCW. When I got there, they said somebody else was doing it, so I had to sit and watch wrestling and just not do anything.
Oh,
Oh, it was a
that's
bummer.
outrageous.
I thought I was gonna be able to put that on my resume.
I'd like to think that every wrestling promotion, every place that has a show at that great venue, I feel like you're just the house timekeeper.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
I agree, 100%.
We'll need to have a chat with Brett about that for sure.
I'll talk to him when I'm in Philadelphia. Hey, man, I'm here for the job.
Yeah, well, I very much hope you get that as timekeeper responsibilities for the Philly shows. Is Defy doing a show in Philly? Is that
Yeah, they're opening the Collective, so they're gonna have the first match or the first show as in the Collective on Thursday morning, and I've already slated myself to be the timekeeper for that one. So maybe I'll just stay in the building and never leave and watch the rest of the shows.
Do it. You're not getting me out of this seat. You're not getting this hammer out of my hand.
No.
Well, if for all of our listeners who may be in Philly, make sure to check out the very handsome debonair timekeeper for the Defy show. Mm-hmm. On that note, I'll thank the team at Social Suplex. Thanks for allowing us to do this podcast. Check out socialsuplex.com. A whole gaggle of other rad wrestling podcasts you can check out, from Keeping It Strong Style, the New Japan podcast, to One Nation Radio, to All Things Elite. Yes, we are maybe cutting their grass a little bit with us talking a bit of elite wrestling, but nothing wrong with that. A little bit of healthy competition, you know what I'm saying? But also want to plug my shit. Jump on christhings.com.au. You can buy yourself some Prinskis. You can read my write up that I do for each of these match of the weeks. I've got the deets about the podcast on there. Heck, hit me up for a commission. You got a rad idea of a match of your own that you'd like me to art up like I do these other matches of the week? Hit me up. Let's do it. Let's bring this into existence. Or if you got like a weird fucking commission idea for like your girlfriend's birthday of like the Road Warriors hitting the demolition device. Is it the demolition device? The shoulder one? Is that what it's called?
Doomsday
Device. Fuck me, man. Brain injuries. Hitting the Doomsday device. Let's make fucking Hawk into your dog. That sounds like it'd be rad. Let's do it.
The Doomsday advice. Yeah, actually, Chris did a tremendous photo of. Chris did a crazy good illustration about my little deceased doggy Bentley. It was him as Stone Cold Steve Austin. I fucking loved it. It was rad as hell.
Oh, thanks, man. That was a lot of fun to do. He was very, very handsome mug of a dog. Mm-hmm. Very nice. But yeah, hit me up with that. You can check me out on the Instagram, the Twitter, all at Chris Things. Keep up with my shit. But no, thank you very much for listening, listeners. This has been our longest episode yet, I believe, because we had a little bit of bullshit in here or there, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. We'll see how we go. But I'll see you all later for our next episode, and for our art curator series as well, a wrestling art curator series. I'll have a very special announcement for our next guest on that. But if you haven't already, my chat with Sam Evans, rad wrestling artist based in Australia over here, like myself. Very fun chat, some good stuff there, so check that out. But thanks again for your time, for welcoming us into your earbuds. Means a lot. Alright, thanks guys, bye.
I do the eye gouge.
All right. There we go. That was nice.